Sister,
Hello.
hello, sister. Now we can hear you. Sister Bindu Mol, Sister Bindu Mol.
Miss, can you hear me?
And now I can hear you, although your sound is breaking.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Miss. അയാളെ വിളിച്ചിട്ട് കിട്ടിയോ? മെസ്സേജ് അയച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ശരി, ശരി.
Hello.
ഹലോ. എനിക്ക് ഇതേ കണക്ട് ആവുന്നില്ല. മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യിക്കണോ? പക്ഷെ എനിക്കല്ലേ കേട്ടോ. ഹലോ. ഒന്നുകൂടെ വിളിക്കാം. ഞാനിപ്പോ ഒന്നുകൂടെ വിളിക്കാം. ശരി.
The information, ask them to join.
I have done.
Hello. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I think check your network. Now I speak you. Please try it. Yeah. Ma'am, it is audible.
Yes. audible. Little more sound needed.
Ma'am, now it is clear.
Something breaking in between. Totally breaking in between.
Now it is okay, ma'am. Hello. Hello. Ma'am, it is audible.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good
Yes,
morning,
it is
sir. Good
audible.
morning, sir.
Good morning,
Good
everybody.
morning, sir. So you
Sorry.
got connection, sir?
Yes. Sorry, I'm late by 5 minutes. I'm sorry about it. Okay.
No, doesn't matter, sir. There was some connection issue.
Yeah.
So
I'm
shall we start, sir?
Yes, please. I'm sitting in Central Institute of Education Technology. Even there's a problem. Connectivity. Please come.
Overall, there is an issue, sir, today.
Just wait. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Shall we start, sir?
Yeah, please, ma'am. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes.
Meghnathan, sir. Shall we start?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Sister Bindu Mol. Sister Bindu Mol, can you hear me? Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sister Bindu Mol.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Hello, Sister Bindu Mol.
Okay.
Can you hear me, sister? Shall we start?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, sister, you're not audible.
College teacher education for women. Director, School of Physical Education, University. Top education. CER in New Delhi. Coordinator.
Ma'am, your voice is not audible.
Session.
Hello, Sister Bindu Mol, you're not at all audible. Hello, sister. Could you please repeat what you said? We can't hear you.
Anjana,
Yes. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, you are clear now. I can hear you.
Okay.
hello, miss. Hello. Hello, miss.
Yeah, I can't hear anything. Please unmute. Whoever is speaking, you have to unmute yourself, please.
A very good morning to each and everyone.
Good morning.
We are on the 6th day of International Faculty Development Program on prospects of virtual teaching, engaging learners and empowering teachers. It's my privilege to welcome and introduce the most renowned resource person of the day, Dr. R. Meghanathan, Professor of English Language Education, Department of Education, NCERT, New Delhi. He was a member of the curriculum group of NCERT and also an author and coordinator of the textbook in English for class 10. He was awarded PhD in English language teaching. He got MA and MPhil in English literature and also holds his ML along with PG diploma in teaching of English from Central Institute of English and Foreign Languages. He has published a number of papers in English language teaching, language policy, and language curriculum. His research works include language education, multilingualism, language policy, school management, and language curriculum implementation. Language Across the Curriculum is his recent book published by Pearson in 2019. He was the team leader for the curriculum reform exercise in the state of Rajasthan for language education at the school level and headed the textbook development for classes 6 to 8. He has been involved in the preparation of textbook and teacher training materials development in the state of Haryana, Jharkhand, Tamil Nadu, and many other states. He has produced hundreds of English language videos for teachers, learners, and researchers for NCERT. He is a member of many committees and boards in central and state government agencies of school and teacher education. He is a well-known consultant in language policy in education for countries like Africa, Europe, and South America. Today, we are blessed to have such an eminent personality to enlighten us on the topic outcome-based teaching. Dear sir, on behalf of the entire Mount Carmel family and School of Physical Education and Sport Sciences, Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam, I warmly welcome you to this session. I am sure this session is going to be an effective learning experience to everyone this pandemic situation. I welcome all participants who are joined here from various parts of the country and abroad. May I request the Honorable Resource Person to take over this session. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Anjana Nair, for your nice introduction, and Dr. Lissi Kosi and others. I do not know much. So everyone from Cornell College and the participants from Kerala and elsewhere. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and I would try my level best to present some, provoke you and throw some ideas so that some reflections will happen in our thinking. That's the idea. I know that Kerala is one of the leading states in terms of socio-economic development as well as education. And I look forward to your questions or comments as and when it occurs, instead of I complete at the end, or as you feel. And if I have something, if you want me to stop in between, you may stop it. Okay. Am I clear and loud?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Fine. All right. Come on. Let's now look at this. I'm given the topic outcome-based learning, outcome-based instruction. Why is it so? Let's look at education as a product for social development and national development. That means from individual development to social development and national development, which we know that for long, from 1947, we have been thinking of, no, we have been using education as instrument for social empowerment and national development, of course, individual development. That's why the Education Commission was titled as Education and National Development. That the 1964-66 commission, that is headed by Professor Kotari, was called Education and National Development. So we see education as an instrument for development, progress, transformation. In that case, we need to have an education, school education as well as higher education, to support us, our learners, young people, very young people in school, and of course vibrant youth in universities, to possess, to develop skills, attitudes, values, what else and what nots, along with academic and academic knowledge and technical expertise, to perform in society for basic needs, materialistic needs, that I should be making my life as well as contributing to this social society and my family, and a lot of things we know that the educational philosophy, many things. So came the year came the year 1980, 70s in Europe, and early 80s in Europe, then in 90s in Asian countries, and that the great lady, I'm saying sarcastically, the great lady Margaret Thatcher, who liberated the government control system in any part of the in parts of England, in parts of England. So what happened was, as a result of which, hello, can you hear me? As a result of which,
we are entering into the Excel. We did our mistake to enter the data into the Excel, where we forgot and we missed the data to enter. Okay, so in such cases, how can we change the missing variable? So before going for any analysis,
can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is audible, sir. Please go ahead.
Sorry, because my
The volume is low. Volume is low, sir.
okay. I'll speak louder. I'll speak
Very
louder.
meek voice.
yeah, if you know,
I'll do that.
You can fill the data if you know. Otherwise, we can treat the
Okay. This is what Margaret Thatcher thought, some sort of privatization, liberalization of economy, because the systems were changing. And also we know very well that in 1991, later the Soviet Union fell, and India also moved from so-called socialist economy, mixed economy, to liberalization of Indian economy. Something else was happening in USA in education sector. It was moving towards outcome-based learning, meaning how we can enable our learners to be meeting the immediate needs, that is the pragmatic materialistic needs, making our people creators of wealth and capital. So as a result of which, this outcome based learning emerged. Okay, Let's look at some of the aspects of this competency based learning, why and how it came into existence. I'm trying to show you the slide. uh, you can see it. Can you see the slide? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. All right.
Yes, sir. We can see.
Okay. Then as a result of which in USA, the outcome-based, competency-based learning came into force. And that was intended, if you are a critic of outcome-based learning, you should rightly be so. I'm also one of those who actually critique the outcome-based learning. I'll come to that later. Then it was introduced as adult learning, not for learning of children in school. So we have acquired some sort of skills, knowledge, proficiency in language, and competencies in each and every subject. Then when I become an adult after 12 years of schooling or K2, then I need to develop some skills in order to function in society, job market. So competency-based learning was introduced as an in USA for adult learning. Later, it percolated into school system. We will come to that later. So now look at it. What does learning outcome instruction aim at? Learning outcome instruction aim at, let's say, to function in society successfully, to be able to function in society successfully, then to use content, knowledge, and language for purpose. Means I have learned some computer science, I learned some science, I learned some geography. I will be able to use in my real life purposes. Then to develop interpersonal skills, so which is actually in the Indian school system. In most of the systems, we find it after 12 years of schooling, we don't have children who can work in any language better, whether be it Malayalam, Tamil, Hindi, or English. So interpersonal, one is language skill, another is how to interact with people, negotiate with people. So this is the third aim. Then perform, they said that, okay, let's orient children, let us orient learners to be performance oriented. So you should be able to perform something in the society. That is why these computer engineers take a training for 1 week, then later they get a better job and start performing C++ or Java. I'm not trivializing any of this. We'll come to that later. Understand assessment is continuous. So as you learn, assessment happens. Then also you should be able to master whatever you learn. So you may slightly be going back and connect with your minimum levels of learning, MLL, which became in the 80s and early 90s, which later we found problems, then we have done away with. But so it is expected that every learner learns the minimum needed thing so that they can perform in society. Look at it. So this is how the competency outcome-based learning emerged, and these are the aims. Now, why now? It is very interesting in NCERT in India. We developed a National Curriculum Framework 2005 in the year 2005, as the year says, but we never came out with learning outcomes. We went with objectives, we went with inputs, methodology, assessment processes. And we ultimately assumed that, NCF assumed that, if objectives, methodology, processes are fine, we can expect better outcome. But after 10 years of NCF, new thinking happens with the change of government also, then outcomes were developed. So now you look at a curriculum which believed in objective, then at last ended up in developing national learning outcomes. Fine. Now look here. Curriculum development in teaching can start from input, process, and output. Okay, or output. It may be the objective, it may be the method is the beginning, or the output is the beginning. So look at it. Each starting point reflects different assumptions about both learning, teaching, and means and ends of teaching and learning. Supposing I believe in the way NCF 2005 believed, I believe in objective oriented. Objective was the starting point. I believe we develop a lot of objectives, tell the teacher how to go about and leave it to the teacher. If I believe that process is important, I focus process is beginning point. Constructivist approach also says that. NCF also focuses on. Then suppose someone believes, okay, no, every child has to learn everything, minimum standard to be achieved. That is that curriculum itself, outcome based education. Then you start from output. So you place the learning outcomes first. Come on, look at how this is figuratively, this can be done. Look at it in a curriculum development, in curriculum design and development and implementation, we have input, process, and output. You know, to crudely speak, as Richards puts it, input is the syllabus, process is the methodology, output is the learning outcome. Okay, the assessment based outcome. This is what any curriculum plans to assume. But does that happen? This is the different dimensions of curriculum. That means before actual teaching starts, we need some inputs. That is the syllabus, the textbook, and teacher preparation. Then there's a methodology advocated, pedagogy. Then we expect the learners to learn something. Come on, look at it. See, in this, within this input, there are three ways a classroom processes can be designed. Come on, look at it. One is content, that is, if mathematics, science, this many topics, this many themes will be taught in, included in class 6, class 10, whatever the class. Then this is the suggested processes. NCF 2005 said it is constructivist pedagogy, learner-centric, and process-based pedagogy. Then we expect an outcome. But which is the driving force? The objective, the content. Come on, look at it. Next. Then next design is central design, which believes, no, we give the content and outcomes to the teacher. The teacher will prioritize his pedagogy as central, the beginning point. Then he may change the content as well as the outcome. So this is the second model design. Look at the third one. This is what now the world is going after, searching, looking for. So we have the outcomes well designated, well structured, spelled out beforehand. Then that decides the content and process. That's why competency based language learning or science learning, mathematics learning aims to achieve. For example, instead of listing the themes, objectives, of course, there they will say that competencies will be tested. The learners will be able to achieve this by the end of this class. Class 7, learner uses English language or Malayalam language for debate, for writing a letter. So outcomes will decide. Whereas objectives will be broader, it will keep open. Learner will be able to use language for purposes. Learner will be able to apply mathematics for purposes. In outcome, it will say learner will be able to negotiate with the shopkeeper for small mathematical calculations. So we have seen three models. Look at it with these dimensions. Content means objective, process, outcome. Then look at it. Process is the beginning, starting point. The other two are managed. The same way, outcome drives the content and process. So now, if there are three dimensions of a curriculum development or curriculum processes and implementation, including implementation in the classroom, how a teacher takes up a particular topic, whether she says, okay, this is my content can lead this, but whereas this is my process, this will lead, this may modify my content as well as the outcome, but these are my outcomes I have completely listed, and this will be this will decide the content and process. Come on. Look at it. So in that case, how do we design an outcome based curriculum? Now there's no room for debate whether we should have outcome based curriculum or objective based curriculum. We say it in a humorous manner whether engine should drive the truck or truck should drive the engine. Engine should drive the truck means objectives set out, spelled out very well, delineated, will drive the outcome. But truck is attempting to drive, that is whether truck will drive. This is a kind of metaphor we use. But however, outcome based learning has been accepted as the order of the day. So let's look at it. So what are the ways and means we can achieve an outcome based instruction? So we diagnose our needs, formulation of objectives, selection of content, organization of content, selection of learning experiences, organization of learning experiences, determination of what to evaluate, and the ways of doing it. Look at the seventh one. Seventh one will decide diagnosis, formulation, selection, all those things. Look at it. Now, what do objectives do in an educational plan? So they describe the aims of the course, smaller units of learning, provides basis for organization of activities, describe learning in terms of observable behavior. I'm going back to the even behaviorism or anything. So how do I perform? This is what objectives also do. But look at it. Outcomes are as important as objectives. I'm a teacher. I go to the class. Okay, I'm taking a listening class. Okay, let me make all children listen to particular theme. Will that serve the purpose? No. So the teacher also needs to say, at the end of the course, I'm expecting something concrete from the learners. What is that? So I must know the desired result. So in a way, outcome based learning and objective based learning are not any different. But however, the focus on only outcomes in discrete terms may trivialize teaching learning. Look at it. So I'm going to stop it for a while and ask all of you to do one activity. Sorry, I'm making this. Please look at this picture. These two pictures, it's a most very common thing in India. Every Sunday, newspaper magazines have this picture, the same picture, two pictures, and there are 6 differences. And I'm going to request any of you, either through chat or through, you can speak to me. Look at the picture, take a minute or so, 2 minutes, and tell me in the differences. 6 differences. Anyone you can unmute and say. Anybody?
Now participants can unmute yourself, and if you need to answer, please unmute yourself.
Sir, shall I answer?
Please, anyone. Please tell your name and go ahead.
Sir, shall I answer, sir?
Please go ahead. Tell your name and go ahead. Yeah.
I'm Mccte-Fdp, sir. The yellow fish on the bottom left side is closing its eyes in the bottom figure. Then the right bottom blue fish is half closed with its eyes. And the small fish in between is missing.
Yeah.
These are the 3 differences I noticed at first.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Then the direction, I'm Jolly here. The direction of that purple fish is different.
True.
And the yellow standing fish with its fins, direction of the fin. The first fins are closed and the other fin is opened.
Good. 5, 6. Okay.
And the other 3 difference, what Lucy ma'am said.
And the yellow fish at the bottom.
Yellow fish is missing. Small fish is missing.
And the yellow fish is smiling too.
So it's smiling.
Showing
teeth
also.
Okay. All right. Now.
So the size of the first blue.
Yeah, that's a little more fatter.
Oh, very good. Yeah, very good. Okay, now I'm a let's use it in class 6, even classes 3, 4, or whatever class. So I am a teacher. If I am, I'm an objective focused teacher. Means I believe in objective, processes, and then outcome, not the other two, that is process, which process drives outcome and content. I am suppose I'm a teacher of outcome oriented. Then I will imagine what objectives, what processes. So this activity, immediately some children responded, means some of you responded. So I am expecting an immediate outcome, just observing. However, I have given an input taken from newspaper as material. I have, knowingly, unknowingly, I must have set some objectives in the back of my mind. And on the process is just asking everyone as a whole class activity. If I am in a classroom, I may put you guys into groups of pair work. Come on, discuss this picture. So any learning, language learning or whatever the subject we teach, we have to have objectives, an intended process, that is pedagogy, and an expected outcome. So the focusing something on outcome-based learning is in a way misnomer, because all learning is aiming at some sort of outcome. But what is special about outcome-based learning is it actually helps us to focus particularly on outcomes so that learners use. It doesn't mean that outcome-based learning actually rejects setting up objectives and processes. That's one. For example, suppose if I give the same activity again, come on, find some more differences. You will be using something what I call language processing, thinking processing happening. Okay, come on. I'll stop it there with the activity. Then we'll come back to some other activity. We'll go do another activity. Now, what happens with outcome-based learning? If it's a meaningfully outcome-based learning, identify, target, tasks. So if I am a teacher, if I'm a curriculum developer with focusing on outcomes, I will identify the target tasks. Describe the required competencies from the learner. Suppose this is the previous activity. What is my task? It is a picture, description, compare and contrast. Supposing then I should describe the competencies. What is the competency? Learners will be able to compare and contrast the two pictures and speak the differences in a language, English. So second competency. Third competency will be learner uses a particular usage in the language. The first picture has this, whereas the second picture does not have. So those kind of usage. This is my competency. Identify language demands for each competency. What does the learner need to learn, know, have, possess a particular competency? So it is time and tense, then compare and contrast, whereas, while, and this has this, so negative. So I must know that how verb patterns, verb forms, and time and tense. Then develop a syllabus. Whereas what we do in objective is we have a syllabus, delineate it, then you go for processes, then design teaching methods. So for competency based, okay, this is a pair work, group work. So interaction based, constructivist way of learning. So then define your outcomes. So this is how outcome based, competency based learning actually works. Look at it. So look at it. What is important? Outcome or objectives or the processes? Look at it. If it is outcome based learning, outcomes, then syllabus, materials test, teaching, and assessment. But what actually objective based learning does, in place of outcome, we put the objectives in different terms that we'll be able to achieve. Whereas outcome, what does it say? It achieves. So we take out in objective based curriculum method, we assume assessment as outcome. So we need to distinguish that. This is the common European framework. You can visit for language education. Then look at it. I'm going to give you some more. That is Here is a riddle. You will have to solve it. How will you solve it? Let me read out the riddle for you. Parents with two children, a son and a daughter, came to a wide river. There was no bridge there. The only way to get to the other side was to ask a fisherman if he could lend them his boat. However, the boat would carry only one adult or two children at a time. How does the family get to the other side and return the boat to the fisherman? Come on, take a few minutes. You may please solve this. Read it very carefully. Will any one of you read out to the others, please? You can unmute and any one of you can read out to the other. Hello? Can you hear me? Dr. Lizzie? Can people hear me?
I can hear you, sir. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking how to solve this riddle.
I'm going to ask someone to read out to the others, please. Once more.
Should I read, sir?
Please.
Parents with two children, a son and a daughter, came to a wide river. There was no bridge there. The only way to get to the other side was to ask a fisherman if he could lend them his boat. However, the boat could carry only one adult and two children. How does the family get to the other side and return the boat to the fisherman? That's the question.
You may solve it this way. So you may solve it first trip, who will take home or who will be taken, second trip, third trip, fourth trip. You can solve it this way by drawing. My only request is while solving, you speak out to yourself, then tell us. Yeah, here is the riddle. Please solve it. Anyone who has not spoken.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
My God, really? Then you are a robot. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, first the fisherman will carry the adult.
No, fisherman is not coming into the picture.
Okay, he has to be there.
They are
Only
borrowing
one.
the boat.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Myself, Uma. Can I answer the question?
Speak, ma'am. Could you
The
please?
first trip, the fisherman goes with the children.
The fisherman is not coming into the picture. He is only lending them the boat. So they are borrowing the boat from the fisherman. Forget fisherman. They have to return to him later. Anybody?
Okay. Then, sir, I will tell you. Then the father goes with their children first. In the second trip.
No, one condition.
He will return. In a second trip means he will return.
No. See, the only way to go to our boat could carry one adult or two children. He cannot carry two children with him at a time in a trip. Either one of the children. Okay, please go ahead. Go. Sorry.
Okay,
Hello.
Sir, let me try.
Ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I'm Srinivasan Shama. Can I try?
Yes, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Yeah, first the two children will go to the other side.
Fine.
Then one of the child will come back with the boat.
Fine.
One adult will go back.
Okay.
The other child who is remaining there will come back with the boat.
Very good.
Then the two children will go again.
Yes.
And one will come take the other person.
No, because one adult or two children at a time.
One child will come.
Yeah, no problem. Think. This is what the what's it? So problem-based learning. We all talk about it. We do it, of course, in the classroom in mathematics. Assume this is x is equal to 100. Sometimes in say in mathematics, we also that assume that all children here are let's say let us say egg eaters. Then we put some of the things describing the story, creating a crisis in a novel. So anyone, please try.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Sir, in the first trip, both the children will go to the other side,
Very good.
and one child will come back, and one adult, either the father or mother, will go to the other side.
Fine.
Then the second child will come back with the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Then, one adult will go to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. Then the adult will have to come back again.
I think the two children will go again.
Yes.
Then one will remain. Then the other adult will go.
Fine.
And the other child will come back, and then finally both the children will go back.
Fine. Any other way? So now, fine. It's a very kind of there are hundreds of hundreds and thousands of such riddles in Indian languages also. So now let us assume this is a problem to be solved by learners, and what kind of approach a teacher should adopt. We are not imposing any particular approach. So the teacher must have chosen this riddle in his designing time. So he must have something in mind. That is his objectives, not the learning objectives. So his objective, oh, I'm going to use it to generate language in children, not only generating language, but also generating thinking in children. Then multiple perspectives. So supposing here is a road, here is a road, the other side is the house. How will you go? Only one road. So children will take, people will take only one road. There's no problem posed there. Whereas here, you can solve with many n number of ways, because there's no condition how many trips this people have to take to cross the river. So as many trips possible. This is one. So what happens when you go for a problem that is competency based learning? You are actually developing a multiple perspectives to a problem within the learner. So we need to really think, and more, though it is outcome based problem solving, competency based activity, what is more important is the processes. So the outcome is actually driving the processes as well as the content. I could have taken a paragraph and dictated to you, then you will be just writing, reproducing it. Will that work? No, it will not work. It will not work. So in that case, we should be supporting outcome-based learning. Come on. Now, I'm going to give you.
Sir, shall I answer?
I'm going to give you another example of river crossing puzzle. This is a little more difficult. We need not bother much about solving it, but take a look at it, and one or two of you can try. Should I request someone to read out to the whole group? You may unmute and please read out to the whole group, so that as a teacher, I'm not coming into the picture. Learner, I'll tell you why I'm saying. Please, one of you, please read out. Will anyone read out to the whole group, please?
Okay, sir, I shall. River crossing puzzle. Aside from the river, there is one policeman, one robber, one blonde-haired woman and her two children, and one red-haired woman and her two children. There is a boat having a carrying capacity of but not the kids. Please help all the people to move across the river, knowing that if the policeman is absent, the robber will kill all the people there. If the blonde-haired woman is absent, the red-haired woman will beat the blonde-haired woman's children and vice versa.
Okay. Now, please attempt. This has mathematics also. That's why. Try. Any one of you, or at least read once. Then I'll come to that.
So shall I answer?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Sir, first,
yes,
the red-haired woman will go with her one child.
Okay.
She will put the child on the other side. She will come back. She will take the second child and she will again sail and she will put the child on the other side. She will again come back. Then
Thank you.
The red-haired woman will go with her child. Is that okay, sir? And she will put the child on the other side. She will again come back. And she will take the second child. She will put it on the other side. Then she will come back. Wrong. Then she will go with the policeman. The policeman will put the red-haired woman on the other side, and he will come back. And lastly, he will take the robber and put the robber and himself on the other side.
Fine. There is one problem with your solution. When two children of the what is it? Blonde-haired woman were there at the other side. The red-haired woman went there. But the condition is
okay.
Got it, no? You got it. No? So
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
You got the point. So now there are 3-4 things in outcome-based focused learning. First of all, the multiple perspectives. Let learners be introduced to multiple perspectives. Number one. Second is there are some assumptions about language, mathematics, science, geography, history, what else and what not. The subject orientation, the faculty orientation of each subject. So how an objective-based curriculum looks at history, social sciences, how objective-based curriculum, content-based curriculum look at the language aspect as content or as language competencies. It depends on how materials are chosen and how a particular way of teaching learning are proposed, that is the pedagogy is intended, then of course what is expected to be achieved. So we need not criticize much of the outcome-based learning. The reason being, firstly, they are also aiming to achieve the intended objectives, competencies proposed by intended objectives. And secondly, the outcome-based teaching learning aim at promoting children to be users of the skills acquired in the classroom. So there's a connection. We say that there must be a connection link between what is happening inside the classroom, what is happening in society. Is that life outside the classroom should be connected with the life lived in the classroom. That's what one of the guiding principles of NCF 2005. In that case, how we can connect these two. So not only as a starting point for teaching, but also an end point for teaching. That means having developed the competencies, how will I function in society? So there are two-way outcome-based language teaching, or any teaching for that matter, so science, mathematics, trying to, they attempt to link at the objective level a society as well as at the outcome level. This is so. I'm not going to take much time. I'm going to, dear colleagues, don't mind. I'm going to give you another trivial task. This time, I'm going to read out 3-4 sentences. You will listen to the 4 sentences first, then write it. I will read out twice. So don't write when I start reading. You start writing when I complete all the 4 sentences. Ready? Ready? Anybody can say, anyone should say yes, then only I will start.
Yes. Yes, sir. Ready, sir.
Okay, keep the pen and pencil with you, or pen and paper with you. I will read out 4 sentences. The 4 sentences, you will listen all the 4 sentences completely, then start writing. Come on, here it is. Very common thing. This is meant for classes 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, go. Most British and American employees address each other by their first name. Probably they will address their bosses by their first name too, but only after they have been invited to do so. Until this happens, they address the boss as Mr. or Mrs. If you meet someone from another company, address them by their first name. Fine? I repeat, most British and American employees address each other by their first name. Probably they will address their bosses by their first name too, but only after they have been invited to do this. Until this happens, they address the boss as Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so. If you meet someone from another company, address them by their first name. Over. Come on, please write. Have you attempted?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Please, ma'am, go ahead. Dr. Lizzie.
Sir, should I read it out?
Oh, Lizzie, now you, okay, you want to do it. Please, please, anybody, please, ma'am. Yeah.
Sir, if any other participant would be interested, let them do it afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Please, please. Thank you for that. Thank you. Will anyone? Will anybody? Or you go ahead. Please, you go ahead.
Should I read out, sir?
Please, ma'am.
Most British and American employees address each other by their first name. Probably they'll address the boss the same way. Until this happens, they will use Mr. and Mrs.
Fine. Anybody? Okay, fine. All right. Now look at it. I will read out again. Before I read out, let's have some discussion, reflection on this. So we know dictation as an activity in our good old days when we were in primary school. Teacher would give 10 words the day before, and we will mug it up, memorize it, then come with that. Next day he will read out and we will write. It was actually spell check, not language learning. Today, look at it. There is something called mental processing. Language processing happens in this 4 lines I read out. Once I gave the rubrics, I have the instruction that I'm going to read this out. You be prepared. So your attention was drawn to a particular thing. That means, oh, listening, and listening for specific ideas, not necessarily each and every word. Then what you did was you also listened to it twice, then started writing. Then you were trying to recall whatever you were listening. Whoever has written, Dr. Leslie has written the meaning of it. This is what I actually wanted. So not necessarily the exact words, but you may have missed out something, doesn't matter, but it conveyed. This is what competency-based activity. Expecting you to use language for purposes. Of course, we are adults. And let's look at children of, let's say, class 8th even. Listening to 4 sentences and processing it. If I have to do it in the classroom, what I would do is, I would actually maybe put them into group work, read 5 sentences, then let them recreate nearer to the one I read out, not necessarily the exactly the same. Come on, let me read out to you. All of you check it out or try to write again. Most British and American employees address each other by their first name. Probably they will address their bosses by their first name too, but only after they have been invited to do this. Until this happens, they address the boss as Mr. or Mrs. If you meet someone from another company, address them by their first name. Fine. All right. You may check it out. This is how dictation has moved from just spell check or memory recall to process-based language processing happens. Something happens in the mind when I recall. Oh, did he say this or something else? So things are changing. Then process-based and outcome-based. So this is how. And before I close it, let me take a few minutes to say why learning outcomes. So this is I'm going to do through first and your 2 minutes video. 2 minutes video. Okay, I'm going to show you a 2 minutes video. Give me a minute. I'm just uploading that video. This is slightly in not in our accent. It is in British accent or American accent. But I created it using my simple show that you must be knowing. I'll tell you how I developed it, but just watch it. It is about why learning outcomes.
Why learning outcomes. Promoting English language learning, learning the language by using it for purposes. Competency-based language learning.
This is focusing on English language learning in Indian context. So I play it again from the beginning, only 2 minutes.
Why learning outcomes. Promoting English language learning, learning the language by using it for purposes. Competency-based language learning. Lowe's focus on achievable and measurable competencies which the learners do and perform at the end of the course. Learning outcomes aim at developing learners to perform the following 7 aspects. Here's the function in society successfully. Learning outcomes facilitates focused teaching on competencies so that learner requires them to be able to function in professional and social life. Secondly, learners use language for purposes. Learners are given opportunity through real-life tasks, activities so as to enable them to use language for purposes. Thirdly, learners develop interpersonal and life skills as part of communication skills. A focus on life skills to determine that language is always taught as a medium of communication in concrete tasks in which specific language forms / skills are required. Fourthly, learners receive performance-focused orientation. The focus of teaching learning is on what the students can do with the language and certain behaviors instead of knowledge of the language. Fifthly, learner understands the laws explicitly. Outcomes are public knowledge, known and agreed upon by both learner and teacher. Sixthly, learners and teachers understand assessment as continuous and ongoing practice. Learners are made know their levels periodically, and assessment is integrated into teaching learning. Seventhly, learners demonstrate mastery of performance objectives. Learners acquire the skills and competencies as spelled out in the objectives to a maximum extent so that there is alignment between the learning objectives and learning outcomes. Teachers, learners, and parents work together to support learners to attain the outcomes.
This is how an outcome-based, outcome-focused instruction. Now, there must be, as a condition, there must be an alignment between what the objectives spell out and what the outcomes actually achieve. So, we have to have. I thought of giving the diagram. Let us say, arrow going from objective and one from outcome, then that decide the processes. That was not there. I have shown that Richard's and mine also, that objective content to objective to processes to outcome, then processes driving objective and outcome, and then outcome driving everything. So, but we need to really think of an outcome-focused learning where objectives and outcomes meet in the middle. Then processes change. The syllabus is formulated in the classroom with the given syllabus, negotiated in the classroom, so that we achieve better learning outcomes. This is one. Now, look at it. I am a class 12 pass out, K-12, grade 12 pass out. I need to function in society using languages, my mother tongue or the state language, English, and some mathematical skills, some attitudes. More than that is the negotiation skills, and also critical thinking. That is critical, which comes through critical pedagogy in the classroom, if at all it happens. So critical perspective of thinking, coming to an informed understanding whether this is right or wrong, but at the same time accepting the multiple perspectives of social life and political life and human nature, anthropological, psychological nature itself. So how an education in the classroom, learning in the classroom will support all this is the question. Then whether you have objective-based teaching or outcome-based teaching doesn't matter, but the competencies learners achieve in order to lead a successful, vibrant social life, contributing life matters. That comes when the objectives and outcomes meet in the processes. Thank you very much. I stop it there. We may have some time for discussion. Please, Dr. Lizzie, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear.
Yeah, please go. So I stop it.
Yes, sir.
Stop it there. We may have some comments or discussions if people have. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
The sound is breaking, sir, again and again.
Okay. Now it will be fine. I was moving a lot. Now it will be fine. Is that okay now? Is that okay?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. So I was saying that towards the end.
It's better, sir.
there must be an alignment between objective and outcome. And what matters is how the competencies acquired in the school makes one to be able to function in society with confidence and be able to contribute. I stop it there. Any comments, any questions? We may go ahead. Yeah, please. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, dear participants. If you have any queries, you are free to ask now.
Then I will give a small task for all of you, so that that would be somewhat engaging for you, not now, later. Yeah. Yeah. Any other thing? I have given you a task. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir. It is audible, sir.
I am sorry. I'm slightly mischievous. Okay. I'm going to, if anyone, any comment on learning outcome-based teaching, or even any suggestions for me to improve myself, or anything else, you may please see that how learning outcome-based teaching is a merit or is a trouble for a teacher. You may please comment. Okay, okay. I'm not giving any solution to the riddles. You may please give it to any of your children at home. They will solve it much better than us, and also your B.Ed. M.Ed. students, or neighborhood children. And this is a common riddle. It's available also. That's fine. And I only wanted to provoke by thinking whether what kind of instruments, means materials, can be used in the classroom. Number one. Number two, how an activity should be so engaging that it brings out the outcome, intended outcome. Then I've given, dear colleagues and friends, I've given one task. If you see the chat box, you will find out. We take a look at the NCERT syllabus as well as outcome of a particular class. Syllabus is stage wise: 6, 7, 8, one syllabus, a 9th, 10th one syllabus, classes 1 and 2 one syllabus, like that. Take a look at the syllabus of NCERT or your own state, Kerala, or any state wherever you are. Then also the learning outcome of a particular class. Suppose you are taking up the syllabus of 6, 7, 8. Take the learning outcome document and look at the class 7 or class 8. Then how they align each other. What is the contradiction? So this is how I would like to give you some sort of task. Then also take up one activity and design from starting from listing outcomes. Then another is design listing from objectives. Okay. Yeah, I know that Dr. Lizzie has said there is mismatch between syllabus, process, and learning. That's a major problem we have in the states. But of course, not much at the national level. When there is NCERT, I'm not saying that I belong to NCERT. So we see the syllabus, material and pedagogy alignment. How that could be brought in is a major challenge to the states, because many states don't even make a syllabus statement. They may curriculum statements. They write some ideas for syllabus, what content should go, nothing else. Then that is not actually a syllabus. Then in that case, materials, that is textbook, serve both as syllabus, curricular statement, pedagogy, material, and also an instrument for assessment. So if the material is the one and only thing which is expected to contain, I'm not referring to Kerala. Kerala has very well neat curriculum development last week, thanks to our Professor Kader, who brought many people, and the people of Kerala wholeheartedly brought people from outside, lot of discussions. So you have got a very vibrant, very great syllabus and the materials too. So, but it's not the case with all the states. This is how I would like to see things, pursue things from my side. I may be wrong. Okay. Okay. Dr. Uma said the outcome-based learning is more preferable as it is pinned to objectives. Fine. The key word is pinned to it. It is pinned from objectives. So the starting point is in a way objectives. Sir, as you said about output is okay. The problem is with the learning outcomes. Fine. Those who are coming out from school at university, many of them are not able to speak right properly, and hence have to depend on coaching centers. Where have we gone wrong? That's what. So it's not simply the outcome what they have achieved. It is actually, it depends on the process, particularly English language classrooms. Kerala is still doing better because I've seen that we have done research also there. 12 years of learning English is not making one speak English. The reason is not simply the outcome. The reason is time spent in the language, means working with the language, is less than working with other things. So if you really focus on meaningfully engaging textbook and engaging pedagogy, the learners will be able to speak in English. You must be, you must have noticed within myself, I studied in Tamil medium. Within 1 year of college environment, I was able to speak in English. But 12 years, I could not speak much, maybe 1 or 2 sentences. Yeah, the role of family and community is giving time, engaging time for the learner. I'm talking in with regard to English, giving engaging time for the learner to use language. That, but one good thing is learning based teaching focuses on from use rather than usage. We will not teach grammar rules. We will start how to use language. Come on, here is a conversation between two friends. Come on, you also do another conversation. So using language for purposes, mathematics for purposes. So community, the major investment comes first from community, first from family, then from community. How our environment, neighborhood can support by reading, encouraging reading, discussing something which is happening in the any language for that matter, even in developing values and attitudes, developing multiple perspectives. I may belong to a particular ideology. My neighbor may belong to another ideology. How we can mutually understand and accept and agree to disagree each other. This must actually happen in the family so that children develop, oh, there are multiple perspectives. There is not one correct thing. Fine. Anyone? Yes, you may speak out, no issue. Unmute yourself and speak. I will not advocate direct method per se. Direct method was not found to be very effective in those days. But however, no particular method will work. So in that case, what we can do is connect with the real life situations, then later enable learners to understand to discover the rules. Doesn't matter. So direct teaching is explaining in a way, or most of the time one-to-one translation, like translation method. Direct teaching has its merits, but when if you teach grammar, let me take the grammatical rules or formulae in mathematics, only when learners have learned some considerable language. For example, in by class 8, class 7, they may have developed some proficiency in English. So then you teach grammar, not as a rule. Through examples, you make them understand the rules. So direct method is not working very well. That's what the university education is doing in science, mathematics, technology. And what they do is they secure some good percentage, they would forget. But what they would actually learn is when they go to job market, they learn something else, which actually they learn through engaging experience. So direct method is not a sin. However, you have a mixed, that's what Prabhu calls it, eclectic way of, if memory works, sometimes you take it. But the best way is through engaging activity. Start from use rather than usage. Then direct method explains. It says that why present tense, all habitual actions use present tense. Rather than that, let us introduce some 10-20 sentences in habitual actions. Ask the, oh, if I do something on routine habitual actions, oh, present tense is used. This is how. I would like to tell you, I have got a YouTube channel, a lot of audio for listening, and some video lessons are also there. We developed for NCERT, CIET. You may use it for your classroom, and also some of my papers, the same name. If you Google my name, Ramanuja Meghnad, there are lots of things available for English language teachers. So that would be great to do. Anybody? So otherwise I can leave. I have another meeting. Okay, Dr. Lizzie, if people don't have any more things, let me leave. I also have a meeting in 10 minutes, another meeting. Can you hear me?
Sir, actually, the session is up to 12:25, sir.
I know that. I know that.
Give us some more inputs. They were really interesting.
Okay. Okay, I have another meeting. Okay, fine. I'll take another 10 minutes and leave. Okay. Okay. This is how we need to pursue. There are a lot of things we need to understand about outcome-based learning. We can't simply reject them saying that it's direct teaching. But what decides is the processes, the pedagogy. Whose pedagogy? It is teachers and learners' pedagogy. So let us have a curriculum, let us have a syllabus, let's have an outcome, but let us negotiate within which the pedagogy, so that which the pedagogy gives the teacher and the learner scope for engaging activities, which starts from use, then discovering the rules, forms if needed. For example, electricity or the electric bulb. We try to let us see that how, let's start from how the bulb is giving the light, then go from there. Let's go back. Oh, what forms electricity, how this electric conduction happens, like that. The same way I am speaking now to you, why I'm using present tense. Then when I refer to a story that it happened that way, then why I go back and use it past tense. So this, let me start from using it for purposes. Outcome-based learning is actually aiming at making the learner, the users, the proficient, competent users of any skill, any competency acquired. That's what the government of India, the Prime Minister himself is focusing on skills. And a lot of slogans are raised, let's say, self-reliant India. These are all focusing on skill. This is what Americans did in the from 1930s, 40s to 60s. John Dewey's pragmatism started with in all the schools. They started teaching that what's it banking. I forgot the name. A board game in which learners are asked to learn about money investment material, because it's a capitalistic country. And at the same time, Soviet Union was teaching them how to be creators, work, and of course loyal to the this one Soviets labor system, work and produce, be a liberated individual in the other sense from the this one, many things. And Americans, of course, as Dr. Mini has said, of course, it's a monopoly of the particular system. And let's also understand each pedagogy has its own ideological underpinning, which you may or may not know. Some of the things. Let me tell you, the English language teaching in 1920s to 1950s, 60s even, structural approach was very dominant. And later we found in 80s that Churchill wanted a particular method in which colonized countries like India, Africa, African countries, the people from there quickly learn English so that their offices, their colonial system continues. But it was used as pedagogy. Kothari Commission recommends adopt structural approach religiously in the classroom. This is the statement the Kothari Commission makes. So it was actually a political agenda which made Africa, Asia, and of course Australia completely anglicized to make us learn. I am speaking English because of that Churchill's idea of structuralism. So there's an underpinning of not underpinning, blatant politics there. War, Second World War. They want someone from India to send quickly a telegram to England, London. So these forces have to come. These forces are lost. So many such things. So of course monopoly. That's what our problem with the Indian education system is. We have not been able to develop an indigenous pedagogy except some by Gandhiji, then Aurobindo, of course our poet Tagore, and we could not really develop a kind of pedagogy which would say that, okay, like constructivism, Vygotskian constructivism, or Piaget's cognitivism, or Chomsky's, I would say, mentalism. Of course, Chomsky is restricted to language learning, studying the language. But however, we should have an indigenous pedagogy. I'm not talking because a particular kind of political thinking happens. I'm saying from the perspective of pedagogy rooted in Indian context. I'm not saying that knowledge or a particular pedagogy is because it comes from a particular place. It's a prerogative or the thinking and ideology of a particular community, particular race. But at the same time, the context is completely different. In that case, why not attempt to develop a pedagogy? For example, let me say it, although I may not agree with myself fully, let me tell you one thing, that is, Indian languages give a lot of importance to memorization, memory. It does have some purpose to serve in language learning, but Vygotsky or constructivism in a way completely rejects rote memorization. They may believe in memorization. So how will you deal with that? For example, learning rhymes and songs. And we learn with the meaning also. Jack and Jill, or this one, Baba Black Sheep, or our own rhymes in Tamil, Malayalam, any of the Indian languages. How do we perceive or reflect and comment or see this, the mismatch between these two? That's what you said. We have long abandoned and these misplaced attempts. Our system is still imitating. Fine, that's fine. You are right. Then Uma also agrees with that. And thank you very much for this one. But what we should actually, whether learning based outcome or objective based teaching, whatever, let the teacher be the liberator, initiator, moderator, and implementer of the curriculum itself. Then for that, the learner has to be the initiator of the activities in the classroom, not the teacher. Teacher, the very most fascinating word is facilitator of learning. But all said and done, it is the teacher who is the center of designing learning. But what we teachers assume, we are the not only designer, we are the actor in it. Actor is the learner. So learning, outcome-based learning actually focuses on actor, learner as the actor. This is how. Dr. Lacey, let me stop it because I have to go for a meeting. I'm sorry about it.
Sir, can we give 5 minutes for any sort of interaction if the participants want to clarify?
If they are willing to interact, I will give more time, 10 minutes also, no issue. And I have another 10 to 15 minutes, but I'm only speaking so that a lot of comments are also coming. That's good. So any comments, if you have to say something to you, not only to me, NCRT, I can take it up. Thank you very much.
Dear participants, we were having a really good session. You take maximum opportunity of this time. You have been given time to ask any queries or put any sort of discussions which you need. Is that need of the hour? Participants, you could please put your inputs here, or you can ask any doubts or clarifications to Sir Meghnadhan sir. It's a great opportunity to communicate your ideas to NCRT, so make the best use of it.
I'm going to.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, I know that Dr. Matthew. Yes, we national. You have said that NCRT books of needs change. Yes, all the classes. Policy has come out now. It will be placed in the Parliament also, I think. Then we are going for curriculum revision in the year 2021 itself, 2021. Then by 23 or 22 or 23 academic year, we will have new textbooks for classes 1, 3, 6, 9, 11. And the consecutive years we'll have the other classes. That's the idea. But there are lots of problems, lot of things with the national education policy, and also on the agenda which the national education policy has set for the entire country. It's a huge task, a complete in a way revamping of school system. That nursery school, preschool education is brought into school.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
So may I ask you a question?
Yeah, please, sir. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Sir, it was an excellent session. Sir, the new national education policy lays so much of stress on vernacular languages.
Yes.
How that is going to impact the growth of English as a language in India?
Fine. Let me appreciate you for bringing it. Even I doubt what you say is actually there in national education policy. You see,
thank you, sir.
For the first time, a policy is saying that as far as possible, mother tongue medium up to class 5. We know that why Kerala or Tamil Nadu like states are introducing English medium. That's a altogether different question. We need to survive. We need to develop skills in learners so that the workforce, we are still sending good workforce to outside the country as well as to the rest of the country. Means that to white collar as well as blue collar job. But this emphasis is, I'm really doubtful whether emphasis on the vernacular, that is not vernacular, we should say native Indian languages, will be effective. There are two things nowadays happening. One is an utopian ideal policy says something, something else is happening. Then Tamil Nadu is the best example, my state. They all talk about Tamil, love for Tamil language, we give life to Tamil, but almost more than 50% of schools are English medium schools. That too bad English medium. So we know very well learning in mother tongue is sound to acquire basic linguistic and content cognitive abilities. But these children are imposed by with another language even before their first language is fully blown. That is going to make them in a way semi-lingual. That's very dangerous. So in that case, NEP is on many counts very silent on mother tongue based learning. It says that mother tongue will be the medium of instruction, not mother tongue, local language. They have now invented a new term. It used to be state language, regional language, or mother tongue. Now local language will be the medium of instruction wherever possible, as far as possible, if possible. These are the we call it magic words. Suppose you make a statement, Meghnadhan is good. This, however, suppose you say, however, he is a liar. Then, however, we call a magic word that demolishes everything. The same way, policy says, if possible, wherever possible. It's not, Tamil Nadu will say, Kerala will say, it's not possible to teach in Malayalam very easily. So, even though Kerala is trying to bring out a law that every child, any child who studies in Kerala, in any system should study Malayalam as a compulsory language. That's not going to happen, but the bill is pending with the President of India. So very interestingly, and someone has said indigenous system, and I would love to follow that if at all any. What is that indigenous system? I'm not saying that degrading Indian system of education. If any indigenous worth scientifically, empirically proven, scientifically effective system, follow it. For example, Kerala cuisine has an authentic indigenous system. Tamil Nadu Chettinad food has. But is there any such thing in India? I'm not denouncing we did not have anything at all. I don't belong to that group. We have, because our education was not for everyone. Of course, Kerala started long ago to give education to everybody, pre-independent India. In that case, what is that indigenous system, quote unquote? Let somebody tell us. If it is very great, let us take it. I'm not this side or that side. I'm saying it a middle path. Yeah, I agree, because we outcome-based education means we feel that it is examination-based system. What to do? So this is what happens, and every system. Tamil Nadu is the blatant example. Every year, at least 3-4 children commit suicide before the national level NEET examinations or JEE examinations. So when someone talks about indigenous system, we should actually talk about autonomy to the states to develop a curriculum on their own. That's not happening. Indigenous pedagogy, fine. Who has said it? Dr. Uma. Develop one. That's the thing we don't have. And also we have to accept, let us not, having said all those things, let me also say, we don't have something, knowledge is not the prerogative of a particular group. They happen to have self-sufficiency earlier than us. So many Nobel Prizes are won by them. Then now we can see that social sciences, economics, many more Nobel Prizes, our people win. Science we win. So why? Why? Because we have developed the self-sufficiency. So if someone develops a sound, professionally, scientifically proven indigenous pedagogy, let us take it. That's why. For example, let us say in Tamil and South India, there is something called Sadavadani or Astavadani. Someone who does 100 activities concurrently. We can use it as a pedagogy. Yesterday, Prime Minister in his speech has said, what is that? Tamil Nadu, Kerala, that Bommalatam and Talayati Bommai, that the doll. So how we can use it for education is the question. That's right.
Sir, I have another question.
Please, sir, go ahead.
Despite all this talk on pedagogy and curriculum-based teaching and outcome, India is still facing a lot of laggards when it comes to higher education. What do you think are the major reasons for this backwardness in higher education? We have very few institutes that could match the world standards.
True. For example, yesterday Amartya Sen has commented something about new policy. Says that that rampant acceleration of privatization, and since the government was not able to cater to the needs of people coming into higher education, we started privatizing. Tamil Nadu lead, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, to some extent Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka lead. And they say that 50% of the enrollment in Tamil Nadu is in higher education, particularly technical education. So these institutions have become only certifying institutions. They know that I would not even call them, most of them, as teaching institutions. There is simply not any engaging learning happening. But however, these children come out and find some job. So this is how early 19th century or later 19th century England was, in as Europe was and America was. So maybe we also have to undergo the process. It may take another 25 to 30 years or 50 years to develop quality into higher education. But till then, our learners have to suffer. So, and one important thing all of us know, we need not say it's corruption in higher education. Then India is the only country all over the world, if I'm right, rampant privatization of education. Entire America, Europe, I think 2 to 3% institutions are in private hands, and of which 50% of the private institutions are for charity. Only few charge. Dr. Lissikozi has asked a question or commented that this credit-based system, and it will take, many of the aspects of Kotari Commission still not implemented. Same way, the national policy, credit-based system from classes 9 to 12, you will have some 40, 45 or 60 or 200 options. You may choose any 5 of them. Even today, CBSE has this choosing option. A child can have physics with history, with mathematics or something else, psychology, music, dance, but whether schools will allow that? They may not have teachers to teach that. It depends on the facilities. The implementation matters. Multidisciplinary programs for undergraduation courses is a welcome move, very welcome move, the way European universities and American universities do. But we also have to see Indian job market. What kind of job? Only 10% of Indians may leave for foreign countries for studies and higher education. But 3 years degree, 4 years degree, will it fetch anything for them within the country? And of course, we have long ago talked about delinking jobs and degrees in 1986 policy. So how that will happen? Dr. Lizzie, let me leave. Thank you very much, because I have to attend another meeting. I'm sorry about it.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank
Over to Sister Bindu Mall.
Yeah. Thank
Hello,
you, ma'am.
Miss. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sister.
Okay. The pandemic COVID-19 has brought a drastic change in our educational system. At this juncture, we were fortunate to get an eminent resource person who has enlightened us on the topic outcome-based teaching. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and for this lively, interactive, and task-oriented session. I now invite Ms. S. Krishnendu, student, Mount Carmel College of Teacher Education for Women, to propose the vote of thanks.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
Krishnendu, carry on.
Honorable Principal of Mount Carmel College of Teacher Education for Women, Dr. Pushpa Mariam, our resource person for the day, Dr. R. Meghanathan, Professor of English, Department of Education, NCRT, New Delhi, most respected teachers, research scholars, and dear participants. Warm greetings to each one of you. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on the day 5 of our week-long International Faculty Development Program conducted by the Mount Carmel College of Teacher Education for Women in collaboration with the School of Physical Education and Sports Sciences of the MG University, Kottayam. The resource person for today's session, Dr. R. Meghanathan, who through his experience and knowledge imparted the topic in a way suitable for all participants. I am certain that it was indeed a resourceful session for all the participants as it was for me. On behalf of the organizing committee and all the participants, I thank you, sir, for sharing your time and valuable knowledge with us. At every stage of our webinar, we have been supported by our principal, Dr. Pushpa Mariam, with her able guidance and stewardship. She has truly been a motivational force for all of us. Thank you, dear Pushpa ma'am. The welcome address for today's session was given by Dr. B. Anjana Nair, guest lecturer, Mount Carmel College of Teacher Education for Women. Thank you, dear Anjana ma'am. Let me also congratulate and thank Indumolti, Assistant Professor at Mount Carmel College of Teacher Education for Women, for her company in our webinar for the past 4 days. Thank you, sister. As we come to the close of the 5th day of our webinar series, I truly believe that this seminar would not have run smoothly without the untiring efforts, vision, and commitment of our dear coordinators, Dr. Suma Joseph, Associate Professor, and Lissy Koshi, Assistant Professor, Mount Carmel College of Teacher Education. Thank you, dear teachers, for all the efforts made in this regard. Last but not the least, let me thank all the participants who willingly utilized this opportunity and stayed us with the end till the end. Thank you to each one of you, and I do hope that may these sessions be fruitful to all of you. Thank you and have a good day.
I thank everyone. Let me also take this last minute to thank Dr. Lissy and the principal of Mount Carmel College, the great college. I'm happy to be associated with everyone. Thank you very much. And Krishnendu and Lissy Koji, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Krishnendu.
Ma'am, shall I close it?
Yes, sir. We shall wind up for today.
Okay, ma'am. The feedback
Thank you,
link
Sister
and-
Bindu Mall.
Ma'am, the feedback link and quiz already posted in the Telegram room. Also, it will be sent through their registered mail ID.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.